The ocean covers more than 70% of the surface of our planet, and ocean habitats are as diverse as they are vast. You may be familiar with shallow coral reefs that grow in warm, tropical waters. But did you know that there are coral reefs in the deep sea as well? Down at the bottom of the ocean floor, where it's very cold and very dark, deep sea corals thrive. Deep sea corals need certain conditions to flourish. They need the right temperatures, the right oxygen levels, and steady current flows that transport their food supply. One area of deep sea corals is found about 100 miles off the coast of Georgia and Florida. Scientists call it the Million Mounds Coral Region. Over the years, NOAA Ocean Exploration has sent several expeditions to map the Million Mounds Coral Region with sonars and to explore it with remotely operated vehicles.
The Million Mounds region, or what we're calling that is kind of a nickname, is basically what we think is the largest continuous deep sea coral ecosystem discovered thus far on Earth. We're talking about an area about 7 million acres in size of these mounds. And if you could drain the oceans and kind of picture what they look like, we're talking about these very large mound features. They can be anywhere from about 30 feet tall to on the order of 300 feet tall. And they tend to be in either long lines with each other or just a series of mounds kind of as far as you could see.
So how did these deep sea coral mounds form?
They're formed over thousands of years, and they have these corals that kind of grow in colonies, and they have hard skeletons. And then when the organism dies, the skeleton stays and the next generation grows on top of that. And so over time, they get higher and taller.
One particular type of hard coral that is very good at making these mounds is Lophelia pertusa. Lophelia coral is often white in color when it's alive and healthy, and brown in color when it's dead. Here you can see the old coral underneath and the living coral on top. The corals here sift food from the fast-moving Gulf Stream, an ocean current that flows through the Million Mounds Coral Region.
The Gulf Stream is a globally renowned ocean current. It's actually very warm water, very strong currents, and a major transporter of both heat and food through the North Atlantic Ocean. So what we see when we look at the Gulf Stream, there's a very tight correlation where you see the most dense coral mounds and the healthiest mounds, and where the Gulf Stream is strongest.
The Million Mounds Coral Region is important because it provides habitat, protection, and food for a variety of marine life. If you look closely, there are all sorts of other organisms that call these mounds their home.
The rubble, although it kind of looks dead, is actually full of really high diversity fauna.
Yeah, it's a huge habitat for many species of animals.
The coral mounds influence the biodiversity of the seafloor by basically providing habitat structure. So a lot of things in the deep sea that we observe, they don't always have a place to settle in soft sediment that's moving around. They like to attach to something hard. So those coral mounds provide a great habitat upon which other things can grow, and that's where we tend to see a lot of the biology that we're interested in.
The Million Mounds Coral Region still has much to teach us about life in the deep sea.